Hi, my name is Nina, and this is who I am as an architectural influencer. So, first, I'm going to talk about what's wrong with the design industry today. First of all, there's an overemphasis on iconic architecture, which often prioritizes visual impact and symbolism over functionality and user experience. It's usually designed for profit, for tourism, and these iconic landmarks don't usually address housing affordability or social inclusivity. It's often exclusive and elitist. It's catered towards the wealthy and privileged and disconnected from urban contexts and local communities. And it doesn't really respond to the cultural or historical context of these places. It's less practical and sustainable with its extravagant and excessive form, and all these issues apply not just to iconic architecture but the design industry in general. Next is the issue of sustainability, and this is a really big issue in the built environment, especially because buildings are responsible for 40% of global energy consumption. Other sustainability related issues include waste generation and resource depletion, material selection, loss of green space due to urbanization, and water management. But overall, buildings have a large negative environmental impact. Another important issue is inequality and lack of diversity in the design field. It's male dominated, and underrepresented groups like female designers and designers of color face barriers in accessing design and leadership opportunities. And the people who design usually don't reflect the communities that they're designing for, which leads to the last issue, which is the prioritization of commercial or aesthetic needs over community needs, aka those who actually use and inhabit the spaces that are created. As an architectural influencer, I aim to address these issues with my own designs. My core values as a designer include human centered design, which focuses on designing spaces that prioritize the well being, comfort, and safety of users. This means making buildings accessible and usable by all individuals, regardless of their physical abilities, age, or socio-economic background, and using universal design principles. I also value sustainability, which includes many facets, and it involves the long-term environmental, social, and economic impacts of a project, but I'm specifically interested in the site-specific aspect and creating enjoyable and healthy, high-quality indoor environments through a building's entire life cycle. Lastly, I also value cultural specificity and respecting and responding to the cultural, historical, and physical context of a site, and respecting local cultural building traditions, and incorporating local community leaders and their valuable insights into the design process. For my architectural style, I've been inspired by many historical architecture movements which overlap between my different design values. For the human-centric aspect of my design, I was inspired by the Bauhaus movement, which embraced integration of art, craft, and technology. It emphasized functionality, simplicity, and the use of industrial materials. Bauhaus design values align with sustainability, accessibility, and human-centric design. As seen by the simplistic forms of the building and the furniture, they were both designed to be stripped down to their basic geometric functional elements. Similarly, the Scandinavian design movement also emphasizes simplicity, functionality, and minimalism. It values human centric design, sustainability, and the use of natural materials, as shown by the design of this chair. For the sustainability aspect, I was inspired by organic architecture. Developed by Frank Lloyd Wright, it seeks to harmonize the built environment with its natural surroundings, so the buildings are inspired by, built around, and blend in with their surrounding environment. And it emphasizes a close relationship between buildings and nature, and thus supports sustainability and the use of organic forms and materials. For the culturally specific aspect, I was inspired by vernacular architecture, which is traditional local building styles that have evolved over time in response to climate, culture, and available resources. It embodies contextual appropriateness, sustainability, and a deep understanding of the local community. And it's often more sustainable because it responds to specific climate needs. Next is adaptive reuse, which isn't really a specific architectural style, but it involves repurposing existing buildings for new functions, and this approach aligns with sustainability, flexibility, and the preservation of cultural heritage. My architectural style can be exemplified by this building, the Vietnamese Service Center in San Jose. It provides a variety of educational, safety net, and health services for the Vietnamese American community. There's an accessible, welcoming plaza. It's zero net energy and all electric. It's made with a green and light brown metal panel that represents the bamboo of a traditional Vietnamese village. The ceiling has a circular pattern that represents a traditional hat, so So there's a lot of small intentional design choices that incorporate the Vietnamese culture into this building and make it unique to the Vietnamese American community and culture and reminds them of home. In conclusion, I'm not looking to be the next architect who shows up on magazines and does interviews or create the next iconic landmark. I'm not looking to leave a huge mark on the built environment, sustainability wise or design wise, not just because I want to minimize my carbon footprint, but also just because I want to impact lives positively on a smaller scale. I want to work with marginalized communities that need it the most and address their needs specifically, creating things like culturally sensitive community centers for ethnic enclaves or sustainable and affordable housing for low-income communities. If I could just make a positive impact on one person's daily experience, that's enough for me. Thank you.